It is June 27th, 2021. It is a Sunday, and you know what that means. It's LCJ Live. I'm Lights Camera Jackson. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you're doing well. I've got here pals George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. I say pals because if you see the new Netflix animated movie, America, the motion picture, which debuts this Wednesday, June 30th, you will find out that George Washington and Abraham Lincoln are pals. And I really can't talk about the movie yet until Wednesday, but check it out on Netflix and I'll have more of my take on it and some more thoughts later this week. If you're just joining us here on LCJ Live, we have some breaking box office news that we will get into. As always, send in your questions and your comments because I can read them here. Your breaking box office news is that F9, The Fast Saga, is your number one movie by a lot and breaks that pandemic record, $70 million for F9, The Fast Saga. Congratulations to Universal Pictures on a huge win this weekend, and Universal gearing up for Boss Baby Family Business and The Forever Purge, which both debut this Thursday, July 1st. So it's going to be a big 4th of July weekend next weekend for Universal as well, with 3 movies. But for right now, $70 million for F9, The Fast Saga. Takes down A Quiet Place Part 2, which had $48.4 million to kick off a huge resurgence of people coming back to the movies just in May. Of course, back in March and April over Easter weekend, Godzilla vs. Kong, $32.2 million was a very good start for that film as well. Godzilla vs. Kong and A Quiet Place Part 2, so far the only 2 movies to cross $100 million domestically, and now absolutely F9 The Fast Saga will be the third with $70 million starting things off. As I talked about on 99.5 The River, I mentioned in some other outlets and places, I thought if Universal could be happy with F9 getting to at least $60 million, which is what Hobbs and Shaw, the Fast and Furious spinoff with Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham, did back in summer 2019. It started off with $60 million. So I thought if F9 could get there, Universal will be happy. Well, F9 surpassed that, getting to the $70 million mark, which is about what the reboot of the Fast and Furious franchise from 2009 with Vin Diesel and the late Paul Walker opened to, just about $70 million. So everybody's cheering and high-fiving. Movie theater owners are cheering and high-fiving absolutely today with this great start for F9, The Fast Saga. Unfortunately, I just don't think it's a very good film, which is really too bad. It's a dud. It really is. It's desperate. That's the best word I can describe F9 The Fast Saga, is desperate when it comes to bringing back director Justin Lin, comes to bringing back characters from the dead, cameos, the way this movie veers into James Bond territory, which I think is crazy. They go into space. Ludacris and Tyrese go into space, which is just ludicrous to watch. Humor doesn't work. The action doesn't work. The prequel elements to it are okay, but they're not spectacular. Charlize Theron's in a box most of the time. This movie just does not work. Supposedly, there are 2 final installments of the Fast and the Furious franchise, numbers 10 and 11, on the way. Vin Diesel says Universal wants it broken up into like a part 1, part 2 situation. What is it? Hunger Games and Twilight and Harry Potter? Fast and Furious finale. Part 1, part 2. I'm going to drag this thing out. I'm not looking forward to those, but maybe finally the franchise will be done. But I am pleased that people are going to the movies. They're going to the indoor theaters and the drive-in theaters, supporting all of these theaters who need it right now. And this is a very good sign for the rest of the summer. Though, you also have to consider maybe we're at a high point. Maybe we are. Black Widow opens in 2 weeks, and it could do $70 million. Could do more, could do less. Just depends on how much the Marvel fandom wants to come out in theaters instead of spending $30 on Disney+. F9, you have to go to the theater to see. There is no other alternative as of now. It's not on VOD yet. Black Widow, you have another option. Space Jam 2, you have another option in HBO Max. Same thing with Suicide Squad from Warner Brothers. Same thing with Paw Patrol, the movie, for Paramount in August. So this could end up being the high point. Or Black Widow's going to be the high point. Because I look at the rest of the summer and I go, all right, there's some big movies on the way. Jungle Cruise with Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt could be huge for Disney, but it's also going to be on Disney+. So I'm thinking we may be at the high. Unless Black Widow does more than 70, which it could. Marvel fandom is huge. So we'll have to see. But I think people are excited. They're happy. People are going to the movies. And we'll see what kind of week 2 drop F9 has. I don't think it may be huge because of 4th of July being next weekend. Now, families could have parties. Families could have gatherings, people going places, taking advantage of the outdoors, though we're at a pretty nice weekend right now here in upstate New York, and we're looking at a little bit of rain into the middle and end of next week, but hopefully things will stay dry for 4th of July. But maybe people go to the movie now because they want to wait and celebrate 4th of July, so we'll have to see what kind of drop it has. We'll see how many families go see Boss Baby Family Business, which is also going to be on Peacock. And we will see how many horror fans go see The Forever Purge. So that's next weekend. But right now, $70 million for F9 The Fast Saga is a big, big win. Quiet Place Part 2, $6.2 million. Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard and Peter Rabbit 2 tied with $4.9 million each. Cruella 3.7. Cruella's doing well for Disney. It opened to $21 million, but it has had legs for the last several weeks, and it is up to $71 million. So it has made $50 million since Memorial Day. That's pretty good, all things considered. It really is. Let's see. Conjuring, $2.9 million. It's closing in on $60 million. Warner Brothers got to be happy with that. They're not happy about In the Heights. Dropped to $2.2 million. It's at $24 million total. Not very good. Spirit Untamed, another $1 million. It's closing in on $16 million for Universal and DreamWorks. I think one of the reasons why Universal and DreamWorks decided to move up Boss Baby Family Business from September to this Thursday is because they looked at Spirit Untamed and they said it's a good movie, but it's not making a ton of money, and we don't think it will. And so let's move up Boss Baby. Let's get a lot of money from families this summer from a huge franchise, huge brand name like Boss Baby. I talked with director Tom McGrath, who was Oscar nominated for the first Boss Baby. New LCJ Q&A podcast episode with Tom McGrath tomorrow. We go into how he created this sequel, working with Alec Baldwin, Amy Sedaris, James Marsden, Jeff Goldblum, little nuggets, little cameo things that are in the movie throughout, and his thoughts on ending the Madagascar franchise with number 3. We don't go into Madagascar 4. I really didn't want to bring it up, but we do talk about wrapping up that trilogy with the third one. So that is tomorrow. Check that out. New LCJ Q&A podcast episode. Transcription of that also at animationscoop.com. 12 Mighty Orphans with another $592,000. And rounding out your top 10 this weekend is the Bob Odenkirk action movie Nobody, which got a humongous boost from being paired with F9 The Fast Saga at drive-ins around the country this weekend. Another $560,000. It is at $26.7 million. Huge boost. When you are paired with a big movie like that, your per-screen average is huge, and you get some of that money. And so people wanted to stick around to see Nobody after seeing all 2 hours and 25 minutes of F9. So the Bob Odenkirk action movie Nobody getting a second life at the drive-ins thanks to F9 and that Universal Pictures pairing. So that is your top 10 this weekend. And we will see what the 1, 2, 3 order looks like next weekend. And I'm pretty sure Universal will be 1, 2, and 3 with all 3 of their movies coming out. As I mentioned, America, the motion picture, this Wednesday on Netflix. Boss Baby in theaters, Forever Purge in theaters. On Prime Video is a movie I'm going to be checking out this week, The Tomorrow War with Chris Pratt. As I posted earlier this week at lights-camera-jackson.com. Chris Pratt, always in an action movie at the summertime, it seems like, or later on in the fall. Of course, Guardians of the Galaxy, Jurassic World, the Lego Movie franchise, Magnificent Seven. We had Passengers, that was Christmas time. The sequels, the franchises, the follow-ups. And now we get The Tomorrow War. And I'm looking forward to it. I hope it's pretty good. Prime Video, a Paramount movie for 4th of July weekend. I have seen Summer of Soul, which is Questlove's new documentary on the Harlem Cultural Festival from 1969. It is excellent. It is currently playing at the El Capitan Theater in Hollywood, and this Friday you can check it out in theaters nationwide and on Hulu. Please do that. It is very good. No Sudden Move is a new action crime movie from Steven Soderbergh that debuts this Thursday on HBO Max. Vehement Films, thanks for being here on LCJ Live. Did you watch Wolfgang on Disney Plus? I think it's a pretty good documentary on Wolfgang Puck. Also, The Ice Road is new on Netflix with Liam Neeson. It is not your typical Liam Neeson action movie. I think the stakes are even higher, and the twists are legitimately shocking. I get into Ice Road and Wolfgang with my Too Fast, Two Films podcast co-host Mike Sargent. For the latest episode, go to toofast2films.com. This week also, I'm going to have a new Animation Scoop Q&A for Monsters at Work. So check that out on Tuesday. The new Disney Plus Monsters, Inc. animated series picks up right where that original movie left off. So that is cool. And also I have a Q&A later this week with Peter Ramsey, Academy Award winner for Spider-Verse. And he's got a new series called We the People on Netflix that he directed an episode of, which debuts this Sunday, next Sunday, July 4th. And so I talked with Peter Ramsey about that and about Spider-Verse and some of his future projects. So check out that animationscoop.com Q&A with Academy Award winner Peter Ramsey on Thursday. I met Peter Ramsey back in 2013 at the Critics' Choice Awards. He was nominated for Best Animated Feature that year for Rise of the Guardians, and I had talked with him on the phone a couple months earlier when the movie came out, and it's the first time we've seen each other in a long time, and it's great to catch up with him, so check that out. Some good Q&As this week for animation fans, and a lot going on in the world of entertainment. Any questions or comments, you can send them on in here for LCJ Live. Have you seen F9, The Fast Saga? If you want to know my thoughts on the movie, let's see. Oh, why is the Wolfgang Puck documentary on Disney Plus? That's a good question. I think they were just interested in doing a documentary on him. I know it's been in the works for a long time. You find these lists of upcoming Disney Plus releases, and Wolfgang was there for a long time. What is your favorite currently running Hollywood franchise? Says Sweet Boy Murphy. Wow, that's a good question. What's my favorite current franchise? I have to think about that a little bit. Obviously, I mean, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has so many franchises within it. But even though I haven't been a fan of some of the installments, I've been waiting for a new installment finally to come into play with Black Widow. So I like that. There have been a lot of good animated franchises lately. I'm looking forward to more animated franchises. Hotel Transylvania being one of them, now October 1st instead of the summertime, but I'm looking forward to the next installment in that. And some of the action movie franchises, the ones that have been successful. When it comes to A Quiet Place, I wish it was stronger. I wish it was more compelling. I wish some of the things that Krasinski does could have been a little more refined in this sequel. So I wish it was A Quiet Place that was one of those. But yeah, there's a lot out there. Some I like a little more than others. Fast and Furious 9 is not one of them. The Fast and Furious franchise is not one that I've been a fan of. In fact, I have liked each installment less than the previous one. So I liked Fast 6. 7 was alright. 8 was so. Not a fan of Hobbs and Shaw, and not a fan of this, of F9. So yeah, I'm hopefully, fingers crossed, going to see Black Widow in the next couple days. I'm looking forward to it. Scarlett Johansson, Rachel Weisz, David Harbour, Florence Pugh. Been seeing the movie ads for it for several weeks now. I've been to the theaters 4 times since I got my shots for COVID. I've been 4 times. First was in the Heights. Then it was a Quiet Place Part 2. And then it was Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. And then it was F9. So I've been 4 times. And in the past year, 5 times to an indoor theater, counting Tenet on August 31st in Vermont. And also the bonus was pretty much that same week going to see New Mutants at the drive-ins. So 4 times since the shot, 5 times in an indoor, and 6 times at a theater in the past year. I look forward to returning to the theater again because my experiences have been good so far. They really have. But we'll have to see what the next movie is. I may be watching Black Widow at home in the next couple of days, along with some of the other big movies coming out. I've also seen the Anthony Bourdain documentary already, Roadrunner. That comes out in a few weeks. But I'm wondering what the next movie might be to see in the theater. We'll have to see. It's kind of a every couple weeks thing right now, so what could be the next one in a few weeks, we will have to see. There is another movie coming out this week, Zola. That's going to be in theaters from A24. It's getting a release on Tuesday night and pretty much everywhere on Wednesday. How much will that do at the box office over its 5-day open? We'll have to see. Zola. Let's see. What movie do you think will win the battle for October 22nd at the box office. Yeah, I just heard about this yesterday. So we've got what? We've got Dune, Jackass 4, French Dispatch, and Last Night in Soho. I believe those are the four right now. Again, it's all theoretical. You know, it's all, anything can change at any moment. I've been saying that for years, even BC, before COVID. Anything can change at any moment. Studios like to put dates and lock things in and move things around. And, you know, we all thought Dune was going to be October 1st after it moved from Christmas, and then it's now October 22. You know, what's going to win that weekend? Who knows? What am I going to see first out of those four movies? I don't know. But I think some of those, you know, one could easily move up to Wednesday the 20th. One could go forward. One could go backwards. One could go more towards Halloween. And anything can happen. So, you know, it's fun to speculate if you want to speculate right now. But that's a little far out for me, October 22, in seriously thinking about some of these movies. Like when I went to see F9 the other night, and they had the trailer for the James Bond movie, No Time to Die. And I don't know. I've had this gut feeling since it was one of the first to move, and it's moved around so many times. I don't even know if October 8th is going to happen for No Time to Die. I mean, they probably would have done well if they opened it now, if they opened it for 4th of July. But October gets cold again. Who knows what's going to be going on in the world by then? October 8th. I don't know if that movie's ever going to come out. Or they're going to get so desperate, MGM, that they stick it on Prime for Christmas. I mean, they could do that. They could pull a Wonder Woman, which did the limited theaters and the HBO Max last Christmas, and say, guess what? We're doing whatever theaters are open, whether it's 1 or 4,000, and we're going to put this on Prime. Now that Amazon has acquired MGM. I would not be surprised if that happens. Really. Either for October 8th or Thanksgiving or Christmas. Because are we really going to want to delay this movie 2 full years? It was supposed to be, April 10 of 2020? Are we going to want to delay this 2 full years? I believe the only other movie in this whole period that has done that is Minions 2, which is now set for next 4th of July. Exactly 1 year from now. But I'm not so sure about a James Bond movie. I think they finally want to get this out there. Daniel Craig wants to move on with his life. All the cast, the crew, everybody wants to move on. Whether it's choosing another James Bond or just moving on to different projects. Certainly Daniel Craig wants to do the next Knives Out movies, so he doesn't want this hanging over his head much longer. I'm really thinking that. I'm really thinking this MGM Amazon deal is strategy for the future and for the here and now and for James Bond. So we will have to see. But for now, the theaters are doing well. People are going. Do it safely. Support the theaters. We'll be back here next Sunday on 4th of July. With how big Disney is, will the original Disney characters ever come back? Well, they're on television all the time. New Mickey Mouse Funhouse series starts in July, and I talked with Phil Weinstein, the EP of that, and that podcast episode will be in a couple of weeks on lcj.podbean.com. When we are back here next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern, it will be 4th of July. Hopefully a fun Independence Day for many around the country. And we'll talk about how Boss Baby does, Forever Purge, F9, Zola, and we'll preview Black Widow, which hopefully I will have seen by then. And we'll talk about more in the world of all things movies and television. Before we go, I want to thank everybody very much for their support of Everybody's a Critic, the big announcement from a couple days ago that I am teaming up with Chaz Ebert to co-produce and for me to host Everybody's a Critic, a new take on the classic movie reviews show, which is now in development. We've already had a lot of interest and a lot of great reaction from the announcement on Thursday. Thank you very much for all your support. If you missed the press release or the big video announcement, find it on my Twitter at LCJ Reviews, and you can Google search Everybody's a Critic, and that whole press release will come up as well. And hopefully looking forward to sharing more great news on that with you very soon. Go to lights-camera-jackson.com, Twitter at LCJ Reviews, Instagram at LightsCamJackson. That Everybody's a Critic video is also at youtube.com/LightsCameraJackson. And you can follow Everybody's a Critic on Twitter and Instagram at EveryCriticTV. Thank you for watching LCJ Live. Stay safe, stay positive, support the theaters. And I will see you next Sunday for 4th of July. Also this week, by the way, I will name my winners for the first half of 2021 Movie Awards, my favorite movies and performances and technical achievements of the first half of 2021. Cannot believe we're already 6 months of the way through this year, and ending that on Wednesday. So Thursday, look for some cool announcements for that. Take care, everybody. Thank you for watching LCJ Live. Bye-bye.